Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here back with another part of What If Naruto Was Raised by Jiraiya and Tsunade. And before continuing this part, I would like to thank you guys because without you I won't be here. And yeah, we have crossed 3700 subscribers, so yeah, congratulations to you and to me as well. We worked together on this, and yeah, without delay, if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's continue with our story. Sorry about the awkward congratulations, I'm not that good with it. Yeah, so anyways, let's continue with our story. 8 years after the QB attack, it was warm Saturday morning. Flowers were blooming, birds were singing, and the sky was clear. So while he waited for the daily trading session with one of his parents, Naruto decided to spend some time on one of his hobbies. Besides training and eating ramen, gardening. Shisui bought him some new seeds for the Yamanaka flower shop, and he was planting them on his corner of the backyard. Helping him were his two 4-year-old siblings, Hagane and Kaide. Both of them had inherited Jiraiya's spiky white hair and Tsunade's brown eyes, though Hagane usually had a short haircut while Kaide had it styled into two long pigtails. Alright, now that you have put the seeds in the holes, you must cover the holes with soil again. Naruto instructed as the twins did so. And then what, Nissan? Kaide asked. Then you can come every day and water the seeds. In a few weeks, it will grow up plain with really pretty flowers. Aw, but I wanted to see the flowers now, Kaede complained. Maybe if we watered them more, they'll grow faster, Hagane wondered. Nice try, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, wait here. I'm going to get the watering can. Okay, Naruto said as he went back to the house. He returned back with a full watering can and he almost dropped it in shock. What the hell? Naruto was in shock. Besides smiling Kaide and a surprising Hagane, there was an almost full-grown bush of white roses. Look at this, Nissan. I told the flowers to grow already and they did so, the little girl said proudly. Whoa, it's almost like the first Hokage. Naruto shouted amazed. Who? Both twins asked in unison. The first Hokage, your great-grandpa. He had the power to make plants grow super fast, but none of his children inherited the power. Maybe you did. Really? That's so cool. I'm going to grow more flowers then. Maybe I have that power too, Hagane wondered as he tried to emulate his sister. I have to tell Mom and Dad, Naruto excitedly stated as he rushed back inside. Mom, Dad, get over here. You're not going to believe this. Naruto pretty much ignored the son's protest as he dragged them, followed by Shizune and the backyard, where the twins were trying to make more plants to grow. Naruto, please, I can walk on my own, Tsunade protested. What's so important that got you so riled up? Jiraiya asked. Look at that. Naruto pointed up towards the white rose bushes. Those are some nice roses, but I don't think they're impressive enough to be worth getting dragged here. Tsunade deadpanned. I don't mean that. I planted those roses 5 minutes ago and Kaide made them grow. You mean that she have powers over plants like the first Hokage? Jiraiya asked. Exactly, Naruto exclaimed. Come on, sis, show them. Kaide nodded and tried to make another rose grow. Come on now, grow, grow, grow. Kaide piped as she motioned her arms at the ground without any visible effects. Oh, come on, it worked just now. Jiraiya shook his head. Come on, Naruto, the kids pranked you. Well, I admit that bush wasn't there yesterday. There's no way that they have the power of the wood release. No, I have the power. I'll show it to you. Grow! No, Kaide ordered, her face turning red as she tried to channel the power she thought she had. Come on, sis, I know you can do it. Hagane encouraged as he patted her on the back. The moment Hagane touched Kaede, something inside her changed. She felt an overwhelming force coming from within and almost unwittingly channeled said force outside through her extended arms. Another white rose bush emerged from the ground. Expected this one grew to be twice as big as lush as the first one. Tsunade necklace shined much an intense glow. It was comparable to the sun. Tsunade's dry shoes and the jaw dropped and their eyes opened so wide they appeared to pop out of their sockets. They remained in a state of stupor until Naruto snapped out of them. I can't believe this, Tsunade babbled, almost in whisper. Tsunade-sama, this is... Shizune stuttered. Jiraiya was almost shocked, but then he smiled widely. Haha, did you see that? My genes are so good. They awaken a long-lost bloodline in me. Jiraiya, Tsunade whispered, ignoring the Tosei's remark. When Hagane touched Kaede, you felt something, didn't you? Yes, similar to something like nature's chakra, right? Jiraiya replied. Kaede, when Hagane touched you, what did you feel? I felt being full of energy and so strong, like I've been sleeping for a whole week. I felt amazing. The little girl said. Hagane, honey, give me your hand, Tsunade instructed as she crouched in front of her younger son. Hagane did so, and Tsunade's necklace glowed once more. None of the present were censored, but they could feel Tsunade's chakra dramatically increasing all of a sudden, manifesting in the form of blue aura flaring around her. Jiraiya almost noticed the bit of nature chakra there too. The effect vanished once they stopped holding hands. Tsunade stood up with a dazzling look in her eyes. When Hagane touched me, I felt many chakra reserves of mine grow so much, I thought I wouldn't be able to hold them. This is incredible. Wait a minute. We all touched Hagane many times before. Why did he didn't have his effect on us until now? She asked. I don't know. Maybe it was dormant until something triggered it, Jiraiya asked. Like what? Like Kaide making those plants grow? Naruto asked. I mean, you told me about twins having some sort of invisible special connection. What if Hagane couldn't awaken this power until Kaede awakened hers? It is a possibility, Jiraiya conceded. By the way, Tsunade, I think that this might be the reason as for why your necklace glows so much when it near either of them. It is possible that the first chakra of the necklace somehow influenced them since the moment they were conceived. She asked. That's an interesting theory, but we'll have to wait to see if it's true or not. I'm going to check the twins now to see the extent of their abilities. As for the time being, I don't want anybody else to learn about this. Understood? What? But Kaede just developed a bloodline limit which was thought to be lost, and Hagane has some freaky power too. We have to tell the Hokage at least. Naruto protested. She didn't step in Naruto. Keep in mind that the power of the first Hokage has been sought by many people. If there was a rumor that Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sama's kids had manifested that power, then they would be in great danger. Do you want them to be in danger? Do you understand the extent of this scenario? Oh, yes, she's an NH, and I didn't think of that, Naruto admitted as he rubbed the back of his head. Which means that you two shouldn't use these powers out of the house, and only with an adult present, understood? Tsunade said to the twins. Kaede went to protest, but no buts, Kaede. Tsunade's tone did not leave room for replies. Alright, Mom, the white-haired girl conceded in defeat. You two come with me for a medical check. Jiraiya, why don't you take Naruto out for some training? Link break. Training ground 3. While Tsunade inspected the twins, Jiraiya took Naruto to their usual training spot. Alright, Naruto, let's review your ninjutsu repertoire. First, use the clone jutsu, Jiraiya instructed. Naruto nodded, made the necessary hand seals, and changed his chakra. Clone jutsu, Naruto shouted, and 4 perfect copies of himself appeared in the board side. Yay! Naruto cheered. Alright, that jutsu gave you some trouble, but it seems that your chakra control is getting better by the day. Jiraiya mentioned. Now transformation. Dispelling the clones, Naruto nodded again and turned into Shisui. Jiraiya gave a nod of approval, and Naruto turned back to normal. And lastly, the body replacement. Naruto made the hand seals, this time much faster, and disappeared in a cloud of smoke, leaving a large rock in his place. Naruto then appeared behind Jiraiya. Excellent, Jiraiya approved, turning around, already aware of his godson being there. Those are the 3 academy ninjutsu you need to use and master if you want to graduate. As you can see, piece of cake when you have such an awesome teacher as me. Wait, doesn't that mean that I can graduate already? Naruto said in realization, starry-eyed. I said that those 3 jutsus are necessary to pass, not the only thing you need. But yeah, I'm sure that you'll be good to graduate in 2 years. Yay, take that, Sasuke. I'm going to graduate 2 years before you. Whoa there. Don't get yourself carried away. You're not going to skip any academy year. What? But why? If I already know what they're going to teach me in the academy, going there is a waste of time, don't you think? Well, you have a point, but I'm not teaching you everything the academy does. Stuff like maths, physics, biology, geography might not seem useful for a ninja at first, but they are. That's why the academy is still important. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't bother sending you there, you know? Besides, I'm going to have a talk with the Hokage and see if he could do something about making the academic curriculum a bit more challenging. I mean, a ninja needs more than the 3 basic E-rank jutsus to do their job. They don't even teach tree walking. Besides, I want to teach you other abilities that will take some time. And that would be, Naruto asked, sealing jutsu, some more advanced ninjutsu, being able to dispel genjutsus, and, if possible, control of the 9 tails chakra. If my goal to make sure you gain some power of mastery over those abilities before you graduate. I see, no matter what you decide to throw at me or how hard the academy gets, I'll pass with flying colors, Naruto claimed, pumping his fist. Boy, that inner fire is something very interesting, and every teacher wants to see in his students, huh? Jiraiya smiled. Alright, kid, now that you showed me what you're capable of, I think that I can fulfill your request. Yes! Elemental ninjutsu. Last week, Sasuke who for some reason had become incredibly cranky since the previous year, showed everybody that he had learned the great fireball jutsu. Even if he was far from completely mastering it, Naruto had to admit it that it was pretty cool. From that day onwards, Naruto begged her parents to teach him elemental ninjutsu, and now the gap between him and Sasuke would be closed once more. Jiraiya then produced a small light brown rectangular paper. This is a limitless paper. It is used to determine your elemental affinity. Your chakra will be channeled into the paper, and based on how it reacts, you can determine your affinity. For example, Jiraiya did as he explained, and the paper started to burn. My affinity is fire, so the paper burns when it in contact with my chakra. Fire is the most common affinity of this land, hence its name is now. Gimme, gimme! Naruto has hastily asked. Another limitless paper from Jiraiya hands. He channels his chakra, and the paper split in two. Ah, damn it! Give me another one. I think I broke this one. Calm down, Naruto. The paper didn't broke. I think paper cut is 2, then it means you have an affinity for wind, which is the least common affinity of all nation, even in the land of wind. Awesome! I have a rare affinity, unlike Sasuke who has fire like everybody else. Naruto cheered, then he realized that Jiraiya also had a fire affinity. Sorry dad, I didn't mean to. It's okay, but don't get all excited. Having a rare affinity does have its downsides as well. Really? Like what? Naruto asked. Since there are a few people with wind affinities, that means less people who can teach you, and less people creating new jutsus. I believe that there's only another wind user in Konoha, one of the sons of Sarutobi Sensei, I think. I could get him to teach you some of the advanced stuff, but for the time being, let's stick to something simple, okay? Jiraiya walked to a tree and plucked a leaf from one of his branches. He then handed that leaf to Naruto. I want you to use your chakra to cut that leaf in two, just like you did with the paper. What? Why? Naruto was puzzled. Jiraiya sighed. Your mother and I told you that millions of times before. Learning the cool stuff, as you so eloquently put it, you need to learn the basics first, and this exercise will help you mold wind chakra. What did you expect? That I was going to teach you how to produce a tornado or something like that? Well, yes. I mean, Sasuke can create fireballs, and I need something to counter that. If I am to beat him, exactly. Wait, actually, that wouldn't be a good idea. And why not? Naruto asked Jiraiya. Because elemental chakra is like rock, paper, scissors. Just like how rock beats scissors, but gets beaten by paper. Some elementals are weak against some other and strong against others. In your case, wind is stronger against lightning, but weak against fire. If you try to counter Sasuke's fire jutsus with wind jutsus, you will only make his attack stronger. What? Then I'm never going to beat him. Naruto whined, depressed as he fell on his knees. Don't say that. You can learn water jutsus as well if you want. But you said that my affinity is wind. Yes, but that means that wind jutsu will be more powerful, consume less chakra, and will be easier to learn. You can learn jutsus from all 5 basic elements. Think of it as the use of your arms. Your arms is the dominant one, but that doesn't mean that you can use your left arm as well. But you use the right one more because you have more dexterity. Then teach me water jutsus instead. No, you have to learn your jutsus of your elemental affinity first. Once you have that down, you can master the element that counters the element you're weak against. For example, after mastering fire, I learned earth jutsu since earth beats water, which beats fire. I see. Man, this is far more complicated than I thought. Naruto realized, rubbing the back of his head. Of course it is. Why don't you think I don't want you to graduate too early? I want you to be properly prepared once you go out there to fight the bad guys. By the way, you have fire, but what affinity do Mom and Shizune-chan have? Your mother has lightning and Shizune has water. And since Kaede has food release, which is a combination of earth and water, those elements are her affinity. But it is possible to have more than one affinity. Yes, but outside bloodline limits, they're extremely rare, even more than people with affinities. Now come on, I won't teach you any new jutsu unless I see you cutting that leaf with your chakra. The key is to try to compress your chakra into a blade as fine as possible. Right, Naruto said, as he fixed his stare on the leaf on his hand. I channeled his chakra. Link break. Meanwhile, in the forest of Konoha outskirts, 2 figures were walking, covered by the trees' lush visage. Both of them were teenagers with dull black hair and black eyes, wearing headbands of Konohagakure. One of them was also wearing the symbol of the Uchiha clan on the back of his t-shirt. So, how things are going, Shisui? The first figure asked. It was as you feared, Itachi. It was way beyond a rumor. The Uchihas are indeed planning to stage a coup. I don't know when, but it will be soon. Very soon. Shisui grimly nodded. Itachi cursed inwardly. Our time is running out. What about that investigation that Jiraya is conducting? Even if the true culprit of the Nine Hills attacks was found, it is too late. The damage was done. The moment Danzo put the Uchiha clan under surveillance, I'm afraid that there's nothing stopping the coup. If such things happens, it will be an open invitation for another villages to declare a war on us. What can we do? I already have a plan. There's a meeting tonight of all the Uchiha members at the Naga Shrine. I believe that Fugaku-sama will be making the coup official and reveal what he has planned. What he doesn't know, however, is that I will be there and I will use my Kotomatsukami on him and make him convince the clan to rebuild the burned bridges with the village. I already have the third's approval. Shisui explained, do you think it will work? If you're caught, you will die on the spot. I know it will. Besides, I can't die yet. Not without convincing Shizune-san on going on a date with me first, Shisui added, chuckling. Itachi returned a smile. I believe you'll need to use your Kotomatsukami on her for that to happen. Itachi's face became serious again. But take care. Once you're done, meet me at my apartment. We'll discuss what to do next. Yes, see you this night, Itachi, Shisui said before disappearing. Good luck, Shisui. Let's hope everything goes right. Little as the two rogue Uchihas knew that the third Sharingan wielder, hidden in the shadows, were listening to their entire conversation. Link break. Shortly after finishing his training session with Naruto, Jiraiya was confronted by Ananbu, who told him that the Hokage requested his presence for an urgent mission. In no time, he arrived at the Hokage tower and entered Sarutobi's office through one of the windows. Jiraiya, is this door too much of a hassle to you? Sarutobi asked in a deadpan tone. Sorry, Sensei, but you said that it was an urgent issue. So what is it? Jiraiya replied as he jumped inside the office. Alright, sit down, Sarutobi instructed with a weary sigh. Jiraiya, there is no need for you to continue your investigation of the QB attack. Jiraiya was taken aback by such words. What? Why? I'm afraid that it won't be any good for now. According to my sources, the Uchiha clan has been planning a coup at Dot for the past couple years. They will stage it sometime during this week. Jiraiya couldn't believe what he was hearing. And why are we still here, doing nothing? We have to stop that from happening. I already have a plan in motion, Jiraiya. Don't worry, the coup couldn't and won't come to pass. I made sure of it. Jiraiya wasn't convinced but decided to not pressure the issue. I see, the Anbu was contacted me, said you had a mission for me. Correct. You see, for the past few months onwards, the demand of an A rank and S rank missions had increased dramatically. I fail to see how that's a bad thing. More income for the village, yes, but I believe that there's something more to this. The amount of high rank missions is unseen in times of peace. An S rank mission means an S rank threat. If there are so many S rank threat missions requests, well, you do the math. At some of the missions, requesters mention men in black cloaks with red clouds on them. Akatsuki, exactly. They begin their move already. Whatever it is, your mission will be to find out what they're trying to accomplish with this. Are you afraid that they're doing this in order to bring our best ninja out of the village wall so they can be killed off one by one with ease? It is one of the possibilities, yes, but not the only one. Alright, I'll meet some of my spies and see what they have. You'll receive a report from me shortly, Jiraiya said as he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Sarutobi knew that he didn't convince Jiraiya about the coup being already over. Truth to be told, he wasn't convinced either, but he had to trust Shisui. He had seen the abilities in action, and he knew that he could pull it off. Still, the old Hokage could shake off the feeling that this was the last time he would see the Toad Sanin. Link break. It took him 2 hours and an inordinate amount of effort, but Naruto had finally cut the goddamn leaf. When Naruto asked Jiraiya if he was ready now to learn Winjutsus, Jiraiya pretty much laughed in his face and told him that in order to be ready, he'll have to cut the leaf in less than 10 seconds. At this rate, he'll never be going to surpass Sasuke. Still, Naruto knew perfectly what would get his mood up, some ramen with his best friend. Now, if a random kid barged into the Hyuga compound, he would be swiftly kicked out by the branch member houses that guarded its gates. And if Naruto tried to do that a couple of years ago, they wouldn't even let him to get close to the base. But when your mother has saved the wife of the clan head from a certain death, well, let's say that the Hyuga starts to show some respect. Good afternoon, Naruto-san. Coming to see Hinata-sama, greeted a branch member who was guarding the gates. The Hyuga had shoulder-length hair, brown with two long bangs framing either side of his face. It would be easily to mistake for a woman. Hello to you too, Tokuma. Yeah, you can nail it on that. I just came from a hard training session and I was heading for Ichiraku's and wondered if Hinata could join me. Hinata-sama is currently training with Hiyashi-sama as well, so I believe they'll finish soon. You can go and see her train while you wait, if you wish. Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks, Tokuma, Naruto said as he entered the compound. After asking for directions, he often got lost in a large compound. Naruto finally arrived in the main dojo, where he saw Hinata dressed in a blue long-sleeved shirt and knee-long dark blue pants, sparring against another Hyuga, male or so he thought. After meeting Yashamaru, he wasn't so sure anymore, who appeared to be both older and way more skilled than her. Naruto's presence was acknowledged by the other Hyugas present with a silent nod. One of them, a woman with long dark purple hair, signaled him to sit next to her. Naruto complained, "Good afternoon, Hikari-san." Naruto greeted as he sat beside the woman. "Welcome to our home, Naruto-kun. Did you come to here to see my daughter?" Hikari asked. "Yeah, I wanted to ask her if she would want to go out with me to Ichiraku Ramen and grab some ramen. But I see she's busy now. She's close to finishing her daily routine training. I'm sure she'd love to eat with you." Nada lost her focus the moment entered the dojo, blushing the moment she saw the blonde smiling at her. The moment of her distraction made her left wide open for the opponent to knock her down with a swift strike. "Don't get distracted. In a real fight, if you get distracted, you die. Come on, stand up and fight Neji again," Yashi chided in a reprimanding tone. "Yes, father." Hinata bubbled as she stood up and dashed at her adversary again. They traded blows once again. This time Hiyashi noticed that she was more focused and her attacks were far more aggressive, as if suddenly this spar became a death match with her life on the line. Yet the only thing that changed was that Naruto had entered the room. Did that kid had some effect on her daughter? Meanwhile, Naruto continued watching Hinata spar. "Wow, that kid's fight pretty hard." Naruto commented to no one in particular. "Indeed, Daiji-kun has quite some talent. Some believe that in a few years he will become the strongest Hyuga alive, surpassing even my husband," Hikari whispered to him. "But don't tell him I said that. He has quite the ego already. By the way, is Neji a guy?" Hikari chuckled. "Yes, he is. Does he look like a girl?" "Well, it's that I met some guys who look like women, and many of them were Hyugas." "Well, yes, many Hyugas have rather feminine looks. Not every Hyuga can have the luck to have Mahiyashi's handsome manly features." There was a collective gasp when Hinata managed to land a hit on the Hyuga prodigy. "Way to go, Hinata! Kick his ass!" Naruto cheered in a whisper. He remembered the first time he loudly cheered for her and was reprimanded by the rest of the Hyuga for almost half an hour for his noisy behavior. "I think I'll bring you here whenever Hinata-chan has to train. She fights with far more spunk whenever you're present," Hikari observed, smiling at Naruto. "Well, obviously I also fight better when I have my friends cheering for me," Naruto replied. After a few more minutes, Yashi decided that the spar was over. Hikari suddenly signaled Naruto that it was okay to speak with Hinata if he wanted to. "Hey Hinata, way to go!" Naruto cheered as he ran towards his best friend. The Hyuga ears blushed once again. "Thank you, Naruto-kun. Say, I was going to Ichiraku to have some ramen. Wanna join me?" Hinata didn't reply and merely looked at her father. Yashi pondered for a few seconds before revealing his answer. "Yes, but your mother will go with you," Hiyashi stated in a neutral but commanding tone. "Come on, Hiyashi. What's the worst it could?" Hikari tried to protest. "Hikari, I'm not going to leave our 8-year-old daughter alone with a boy." Hiyashi almost spat the last word. If only he knew all the times Hinata had been alone since they met. "So either you or another adult go with her or she can't go." "Alright, as you wish, dear." Hikari rolled her eyes. "Naruto-kun, wait a minute before Hinata-chan gets a quick shower and gets dressed." Link break. Half an hour later, the two Hyuga girls and the Uzumaki boy were at the latest favorite place to eat. "Alright, 2 chicken ramen bowls for the ladies and 5 miso ramen bowls for our favorite customer," Ichiraku announced as he placed the order on the counter. "Enjoy your food." "We will," Naruto happily replied as he started wolfing down the food. Hikari watched him with curious eyes. "Kid, how can you eat so much and not have an ounce of fat in your body?" the Hyuga woman asked. "Because I burn all of it in training a lot. I need to train if I want to become the Hokage," Naruto proudly proclaimed as he finished his first bowl and went to the second. "Especially now that I'm learning the elemental ninjutsu." Really? That's amazing, Naruto-kun, because that kind of jutsus are pretty advanced," Hinata noted as she slowly ate her ramen. "Indeed, they're usually taught to Chunin, and the average age of becoming Chunin is 15 to 16. You're half that age and not even an academy graduate, Hikari observed. Yeah, that's how awesome I am, Naruto claimed with a foxy grin as he emptied his third bowl. Hey, what about you, Hikari-san? What is your element? Actually, the Hyuga clan does not use traditional ninjutsu, just our own material art, the gentle fist, but I believe my affinity is water. I don't know what affinity is Hinata's. Well, we might find it soon, since my dad said it's going to talk with the Hokage, so they teach elemental ninjutsu at the academy, Naruto claimed. The academy, isn't that a bit too soon? I mean, not all the kids have the luck of having a clan or being trained by Tsunade's, Naruto, Hikari asked. I don't know, my dad said that the standards of the academy decayed a lot since the days he and mom were caning. By the way, did you know that they graduated when they were just 6? They're living legends. It's something to be expected, Naruto. Mother, Hinata spoke up. Do you think I could learn elemental ninjutsu? Hikari showed her daughter an odd look. Why would you want to do such a thing? Well, it's that I'm not good with the gentle fist, so maybe if I could have something else to rely on. I don't see why not. While we don't use traditional ninjutsu, it isn't banned or anything. Hikari shrugged, and then she turned more serious. Though I don't want you to neglect your gentle fist training. Your father and I still expect you to master it to some degree. You can learn any other kind of ninjutsu to supplement your skill repertoire if you want and wish, but none of them are to be treated as the replacement for the gentle fist. Understood? Yes, mother. Hikari smiled. Good then. Though, then again, I believe that maybe traditional ninjutsu will give you less trouble since you have such a good chakra control for somebody of your age. Hey, if that's the case, maybe she could also learn medical ninjutsu. Mom says that it requires a precise chakra control, Naruto commented. You know what to add medical ninjutsu as well? I think Hinata will have enough with elemental ninjutsu and the gentle fist, Naruto-kun. Hikari replied. Though given her history, Hikari couldn't help but feel a new word respect for medical ninjutsu. Well, my parents say that a great ninja is a master of multiple skills. That's why besides taijutsu and ninjutsu, I also going to learn jutsu as well. And I heard Dad talking about something called senjutsu, which I don't know what it is. All you need is the will to do it. It's good to see that despite being a young kid, you're thinking so much about your future, Naruto-kun. That kind of hindsight is rare in kids your age. Besides, I also heard Mom saying that she wants to convince Hyuga to become a medical nin, since he said something about the Byakugan being a good medical tool or something. You have a point in there, but in the end, it all depends on what Hinata wants to do, Hikari noted, looking at his daughter. Well, as for now, I think I'll try to work on elemental ninjutsu first and then maybe medical ninjutsu as well, Hinata said. Alright, can Hinata come to train with Dad and me one of these days? Naruto asked to Hikari. I don't see why not. She can go once she finishes her daily gentle fist practice. Yay! You see, Hinata, you'll become a mistress of the elementals in no time. Link break. That evening at the Nakara shrine. Almost the entire Uchiha clan was gathering there. Only 3 members were missing: the disowned Uchiha, Itachi, his brother Sasuke, which was happily asleep on his bed, unaware of the nightmarish turn of events that were about to come, and Shisui Uchiha. There were many crates scattered around the place. Some of them were opened, revealing its contents. Some of them had ninja tools such as kunais and shuriken. Others had flake jackets similar to the ones worn by Chunin, except that they were black instead of green and had an Uchiha fan on its back instead of the Uzushio Gakure red swirl. Another crate had forehead protectors only with the Uchiha fans instead of the Konoha symbol. Fugaku Uchiha, the Uchiha clan head, was on top of the crates that served as a makeshift podium. The Uchiha stopped chatting amongst themselves and paid attention to what their leader was about to say. My brethren, it is a pleasure to see all of you gathered here in this sacred place. Since time immemorial, the Uchiha has been one of the most powerful clans of the entire elemental nation, an unstoppable force matched by very few clans. Our power, however, wasn't without a price, and said price being doomed to a life of constant battle. That's why our ancestor Madara Uchiha chose to join the Senju clan and found this village. They granted us peace, but said peace, like our power, came with a price. Since we became the part of the village, the Uchiha had always been second-rated citizens, forced to live isolated from the rest of the village, barred from attaining positions with any real power. But as dutiful and loyal ninja, we endured. But being accused of being behind the Nine-Tails attack, and that was its last straw, Fugaku yelled. He was replied by multiple Uchiha shouting back in agreement. Allying with the Senju was a mistake Madara realized, and so did we, much later. but accept that there's no mistake that can't be rectified, and that's what we will be doing soon. We will attack the village and take back what's ours. We will take back Konoha. The rest of the clans will bow before our might. Fugaku's words were met with more shouts, louder and with more enthusiasm than the first ones. You must be thinking that this is a suicidal endeavor, and in most circumstances it would be, but tonight we have a golden chance that we cannot afford to pass. Somebody contacted me a couple of years ago and offered me that means to take this village for the clan. Said person has vast resources that he had put at our disposal. Amongst them, he created a climate of chaos and instability across the land of fire, forcing the Hokage to dispatch most of the strongest jonin to keep the peace, which means that there are almost no elite ninjas protecting Konoha. Between that and their reinforcements my ally will provide me, in 2 days Konoha will be under our control. Again more shouts and cheers, however not everybody was convinced. Fugaku-sama, who is this ally you keep talking about? Asked the Uchiha. Yeah, is he or she the leader of another village? That's where the reinforcements are coming from? Another Uchiha asked. I believe I can answer that question. A boom disembodied voice said. All the Uchihas looked around in surprise. Some even activated their Sharingan to see why the mysterious voice came from. Besides Fugaku's semi-transparent swirl vortex appeared, and from said vortex emerged a figure, a man wearing a black cloak with red clouds over a set of armor. His face was hidden by an orange mask with black flames on it, as well as a single hole on the right side revealing a red eye. My Burton, this is the ally I've been talking about. Why don't you introduce yourself? Fugaku asked to the mysterious newcomer. Of course, said the maskman. My name is Madara Uchiha. I came back to help you reclaim what is rightfully yours. It was the end of another nice, quiet, and uneventful day at Konoha. The sunset was starting to set, and its inhabitants got prepared for their usual evening activities. At the Hokage Tower, Hizuzu Sarutobi had just finished with his paperwork, just like his daily routine, and was now relaxing by reading a novel, one of his tower living rooms. Shikakunara, Inoichi Yamanaka, and Choza Akamichi were on their favorite taverns, sharing a few drinks, reminiscing about the old days, bitching about their wives, and boasting about their children. Uncle Mitarashi was at her favorite spot, Dangoya, having some steak and stuffing her mouth with her favorite food. Iruka and Mizuki were also hanging out at a bar, with the latter trying and failing to flirt with the Konoichi there. Iruka trying to remain Mizuki in vain that he was going to marry in a few weeks. Korona Yuhi was at her house, doing her laundry. Yugao Uzuki and Yategeko were on a date to celebrate the first year anniversary of their relationship. In the Hyuga compound, Hyuga was reversing some of the clan's paperwork regarding the clan's expenditures for the past months, while his wife played with their daughters. Meanwhile, Hizashi and Neji finished some of late afternoon training at the boys' request. On a one-room apartment near the walls, Itachi looked through the window at the village, wondering why he didn't hear any news from his friend and cousin Shisui yet, and prayed for his safety. At the Senju residence, Tsunade was in the living room teaching Hyagane and Kaide how to play poker, while Shizune and Naruto were in the kitchen about to prepare dinner, while Shizune told Naruto that if he got ramen for breakfast and later for lunch, he wasn't going to have ramen for dinner. The Uchiha compound, however, was completely empty except for one person, Sasuke Uchiha, who was fast asleep in his bed after having a rather brutal training session with his father. Little did he know that Fugaku wanted Sasuke to be asleep as soon as possible to keep him away from what was about to happen. Link break. At the west gate of the Konoha, two Chunin were finishing their shift. One of them was big, had spiky brown hair and a broad nose. The other was skinny man who wore an eye patch over his left eye and a bandana over his head. The sun is setting down, so I believe it's time to close the doors, right? Beko, the skinny one said. I guess so. Though our replacements did not come yet, Iwane. The man named Beko replied. Oh, who cares? It's not our business if they're late. Come on, let's close the gates and go to have some drinks. My throat is dry, Beko said as he walked back towards the gates, but heard no noise and response from his partner. Iwane? The big-nosed Chunin turned around to see his eye-patch-wearing partner laid on his back, lifeless. What the hell? I'm sorry, but the gates are to remain open for the rest of the night. A chilling voice said behind Beko. Beko turned around, and when he did so, the man behind him slashed his throat open. The last thing Chunin saw was experiencing a pair of red eyes staring into his soul. West gate secured. Send the signal. The Uchiha Chunin said to the partner. The other Uchiha nodded and formed several hand seals and cast a great fireball jutsu in the air. A few minutes later, hundreds of criminals, mercenaries, and low-level missing ninjas that were hiding amongst the forest of the outskirts of Konoha left their hiding place and rushed into the upsetting village. It took no time for the Konoha ninja to find themselves overwhelmed while dealing with the waves of enemies that came seemingly out of nowhere. Meanwhile, on a secret route underground base, Danzo walked through a hallway while being flanked by his two most loyal bodyguards, Fu Yamanaka and Torne Aburame. Everything has been prepared for the surgery, Danzo-sama. The medics are already waiting for you. Fu mentioned. Excellent. What about the seals? Danzo asked. Already prepared as well. It will be applied immediately after the surgery. They will make sure that nobody will be able to remove the Sharingan eye from your socket. Torne replied, Good. Come on, I want to get over with these as soon as possible. Danzo said as he reached the door opening. What on earth? Danzo was expecting the two-root medical nin to greet him and ask him to lay on the operation table so that he could start. Instead, they were laying on the floor, motionless, surrounded by a pool of their own blood. On the operation table was sitting a masked man, wearing a black cloak with red clouds on it. On his hand was a jar of Sharingan eyes on it. Oh hey, what's up? I hope you don't mind, but I really need this eye, so I'm going to confiscate it for the time being, the man said nonchalantly. And if you do mind, well, you'll have to deal with it. That's how life rolls. Fu, Torn, execute this man and retrieve the eye. Danzo's voice was firm, but not without panic. His two minions initiated their tantos and started to charge at the masked man. I'd love to stay and play with your guys, but I'm kind of busy now. Place to go, people to kill. I'm sure you understand. The masked man said and disappeared in a swirl of vortex before Danzo's bodyguards could reach him. Sound the alarm. He couldn't be too far. Danzo shouted. Now he was desperate. Lingbre, Iruka and Mizuki were fighting against a pair of nearly identical ninjas wearing grey and dark blue camouflage clothes, representing Kirigakure's forehead protector and a large blading gauntlet on their respective dominant hands. Said gauntlets were linked by a long spiky metal chain. I think I know these guys. Kirigakure's demon brothers. They fled their village after a failed attempt of a coup d'etat. It seems that they're trying to gain here, Iruka said. That's nice and all, but how strong are they? Mizuki asked, a bit nervous. The bingo book listed them as B-rank Chunins, so they're similar in power to us, Iruka motioned. It says that their specialties are ambush, but are mediocre in direct combat. Let me show you how wrong the bingo book of yours is it. Come on, Mizu, one of them said as he and his brother charged at the duo of teachers. Mizuki jumped in midair, pulled out his Fuma shuriken and tossed it against the chain, pinned it to the ground, and stopped his brother's charge. They quickly pressed a button on their gauntlet that detached the chain from them and allowed them to fight individually. Blade's gauntlets clashed against kunas and shurikens. While the demon brother weapons were indeed dangerous and intimidating, they stopped them from performing hand seals and thus jutsus. They had been working on one-handed seals, but they still had a long way to go until they could use ninjutsus with one hand. One of the brothers left himself wide open for a second, but that was all what Iruka needed. The teachers kicked his opponent, who was pushed against his near-identical brother, while Iruka made some hand seals. Demonic illusion, night cover. The brothers quickly fell prey to Iruka's illusion, dropped on their knees, and soon they fell asleep. They then started to tie them up on their chains. Well, so much for the demon brothers, Mizuki said as he twirled a kunai on his finger. Mizuki, behind you! The white-haired Chunin jumped in time to avoid a backstab from an enemy. This time it was an Uchiha Chunin. Iruka ran through his hands. Water release! Water jutsu! Iruka shouted before releasing a powerful stream of water out of his mouth. They blasted the Uchiha against a nearby wall. Mizuki finished him by stabbing a kunai inside. What the hell the Uchiha are fighting against these guys? Against us and alongside these guys? Mizuki asked, frustrated. It seems that the Uchiha brought them, Iruka said with a ting of sadness. What do you mean by that? I heard some rumors about the Anbu watching the Uchiha clan because they were afraid that they were doing some shady stuff. Apparently this is what they had planned. This guy seems to be their foot soldiers. Great. Just great. And why the hell are all the Jonins are? Your pal Kakashi would have been here. And a great help too. Kakashi had to leave the village last week due to the long-term mission. I don't know what are the other Jonins doing. Okay, in that case, this is what we are going to do. So far we don't know how this will end, so we'll find a safe place to hide there. Once the battle is over, we'll get out and join whoever has won. What? Mizuki, you can't be serious. Are you going to abandon Konoha in its time of need? Ruka exclaimed, perplexed. It's the most Intelligent solution. What if the Uchiha wins? Being Konoha ninja, do you think they'll be nice to us? Let us go back to our jobs like nothing happened. And if we side with the Uchiha and they lose, we'll be executed for treason. That's why we have to fight, to make sure that the Uchiha don't win. Hyuga said, staring angrily at the core worker. Every man counts. No, until things calms down. It's every man for himself. Mitsuki replied as he grabbed his Fuma shuriken and tossed it at a disbelieving Hyuga. The teacher managed to step aside before the giant shuriken would hit him and stab him in his chest. That was on the house. Don't expect me to save your sorry ass again, Mizuki harshly stated as he retrieved his main weapon from the corpse. Now be smart one in your lifetime and find a hiding place. With that, Mizuki leapt out of Iruka's side. Iruka sighed and decided that the best course of action would be to find another alone ninja to watch each other's back. Link break. Meanwhile, on his apartment, unaware of the chaos unfolding on the village, Itachi was washing the dishes after having a light meal for dinner. He planned to meditate for half an hour and go to bed early. The Hokage had already assigned him another A-rank mission for the next day. Things weren't going too bad for the Uchiha outcast. He still had a rather big debt from the bank, but he was saving up a rather large amount of money that allowed him to cover the basic needs to pay rent and the bank each month. He still has some money that he decided to save for further emergencies, though maybe he could use some of that money to decorate the apartment a bit more. One of the reasons he didn't allow Sasuke to visit him yet was because he thought Sasuke wouldn't be comfortable or much gloomy. He was snapped from his trains of thoughts when somebody loudly knocked on the door. Coming, Itachi said as he tried his hands on a rock. The person at the other side continued pounding the door as if he or she was trying to shake it or take it down. Not it would take much effort, but Itachi preferred the door of his apartment to be intact. I'm sad coming. Where is the fire? Itachi said as he opened the door. He gasped in shock when he saw a badly beaten Shisui, covered in bruises and cut, as well as missing his left eye. To answer your question, all around the Konoha, Shisui said before clasping. Shisui! This is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, I know it's kind of a cliffhanger, but yeah, I will be covering the whole coup d'etat series in the next part of this series, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, hope you like this one. If you do, please do like and subscribe to my channel. And this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.